Alright guys, so today we are going to be cutting the overfenders, or not the overfenders, we're cutting the factory quarter panels so that way we can actually fit this wheel up inside of there. If you guys see right here, that's not going to cut it. So basically what we're going to do is draw a line on the quarter panel and actually pull off this fiberglass over real quick, cut it up, fold it over, weld it all up, get it all sealed, and yeah, and that's basically the proper way to do this whole wide body thing. So I'm going to start by yanking off this this thing, taking off the wheel, and kind of making a rough line, and then we're pretty much just going to start freaking cutting it. So now we have the quarter panels all cut out. You can see before, when this thing was sitting down pretty much exactly where it was about an inch below. So now we could really lower this thing down and you know, get these tires right up there in the quarter. And yeah, this other side looks pretty good. I did it a little bit less aggressive on the sides right here. Just because when I was doing that, it was just kind of hard to get the metal to stretch over there. So basically it's the same at the top, but a little bit less aggressive on the sides, and it made it a little bit easier to kind of mold the metal. But yeah, so now we're pretty much ready to you know, at least prepare to start molding the quarters. So tomorrow I'm gonna go ahead and go to DNS and get the right stuff to where we can actually bond that stuff on here and start making this thing actually look like a wide body 240. Alright guys, so it has been a couple days since we messed with doing this whole cutting and welded thing on here, which that was like 2 seconds ago for you guys. But we went to the track, put the Civic back together, did all that type of stuff. Spent the Memorial Day weekend hanging out with family and all that stuff, and now we are back here messing with this thing again. So I did stop at DNS Paint Center today and went ahead and got some more materials for this thing. So one of the things that we're gonna do is actually seal up all this stuff. Since it is welded, but there is some little pinhole stuff here and there. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is just sand this with like 180 grit. Probably this whole quarter panel actually with 180. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put some seam sealer in here, seam sealer on the inside, any little spots where there's like a little crack or anything. So just get all that stuff sealed up. That way there, like, no water messes with it. And I think there's like a little, yeah, like little stuff like that. There's like a little crack, and that stuff's like super thin and a big pain to weld. So we'll just get it sealed up with the seam sealer. And then I actually got some of the paddle bond stuff. So this is the panel adhesive, And then I also have this right here, which is a flexible foam, which expands about 8 times. So what we'll actually do is when we stick the panel bond on there, that's actually how we're gonna basically mold it to the thing, is we'll scuff up this stuff real good, and then we'll put a nice little bead of the panel bond all the way around it. And then what we'll do is, you know, since there's gonna be obviously like an open cavity on the bottom of it, we'll go ahead and use that foam to kind of expand in there so no water or stuff could get in there. Just make sure it's all nice and sealed. So that was kind of one of the concerns that I had with doing this whole wide body thing. But yeah, I think it's gonna be just fine. So we're gonna go and get started. Good. Boots, so you can do some new boot goofing.
Some new boot goofing.
You go goofing in your new boots.
You didn't tell him about that thing ever?
No.
He said no, guys. He said no. It's not very nice.
It's remaining a mystery.
She'll come back. Look at Trev. Do you think they have like hoverboard games? Like where you go and compete for hoverboarding?
I kind of want to get into those like drone racing, little RCs.
FP drones or whatever?
That'd be kind of cool.
Alright, Ronnie. Let's go. Your turn. Take your boots off.
I'm going to try it with the boots. I like the boots.
Okay. Take 3 for Ronnie boy here. Me and Trev told him he should take his boots off, but he says he feels more comfortable with them on.
Don't be getting away from me. This thing like wants to freaking fight me, dude.
I just think you're very even, like front to back.
No, it just like it's tilting.
But if you only have one foot on it, it won't go.
No, it's going. Look, it thinks that I'm on there. I just am trying to get it to where.
You only got a minute. You can't like. You only got a second. So I get on there.
Well.
Oh, you're gonna go down. You're going down. I don't want to be here to catch you.
Hey, just you gotta relax a little bit.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm completely relaxed.
This is what relaxed looks like.
Okay, I think
You're getting there.
it's smoothing out. This thing, I think the batteries pulsate on it.
They don't pulsate.
Or is just you pulsating, bro?
Yeah, it's just your body. Okay. There he goes. You got some open. So you got some confidence now. You got some open ground.
No, you steer
With the wing.
and gas with just this side. The other side just chills there.
You could do that, yeah.
Use them both.
Use them both.
No,
Like a
when you
skid
get both,
steer.
it jerks the battery.
Yeah, it's like a skid steer. Like front and back on both sides.
Dude, that was the softest landing so far.
Yeah, that was a good bail there.
Guys, so got all this stuff all sealed up with that seam sealer, and seems like it's pretty good. Been on there for about a day or so. So now is the time to actually mold these bad boys in. So in order to do that, basically I need to scuff this really good. So I went ahead and I sanded it with 180 grit kind of all the way around. And then what we're actually going to do is kind of, on the flange or wherever we are actually going to be using the panel bond, which I think is going to be probably from about right here all the way kind of down to like right there. Basically where the panel bond is going to go, we're going to scuff that with, this is a 40 grit, and we're going to scuff the actual metal on the car, as well as the fiberglass back here, since this is kind of like sealed. Not really sealed, but it's just, it hasn't been scuffed or scratched, so it kind of has like a smooth finish from where they fiberglassed it. So we'll go ahead and scuff that. But again, I'm basically gonna cut off this top piece because there's no reason to mold that. And I think what we're gonna kind of do is mold off of this line right here. So we'll kind of, should be able to kind of taper it in and out right here. And I guess go from there. So I'm gonna start trimming on this panel right here, start getting it to kind of fit up and look nice on there. So we got the easy side done, which is the side without the gas door. So I went ahead and you can see I cut off that whole top piece, basically everything that would normally come up back here and ride on this top edge, kind of all the way to the back. And then what I did is used a lot of self-tapping screws just to get this thing in position to where it wasn't kind of bowing or having any of that kind of tin can effect. And so especially taking off that top piece, the way it was when you had it down, it really wanted to bow out the bottom of this. But once we took that whole piece off, everything just wanted to kind of go right where it needed to. So I basically trimmed all the edges around, kind of smoothed it out, and then went on the whole back side of the fiberglass and hit it with, that's a 60 grit wheel. So basically kind of took off that top shiny piece of that, and then just basically used a bunch of the panel bond, went all the way around it, and then kind of as we were putting it on, what we'd do is pull it back and put like a nice little ledge in there so it would actually squish out. So this whole top ledge, everything should be 100% sealed, and and it should be pretty sealed around all this stuff. So I've been procrastinating this whole situation right here just because I felt like, you know, I wanted to do it right, and it's not one of those, you know, since we are molding it, one of the things that I want to do is just be really, really conscious of, you know, moisture. If somebody's, you know, so be really, really conscious of moisture. So if we're like driving it in the rain or the snow or whatever like that, there's not flicking a bunch of water up there and it's not going to rust or do any of that stuff. And so that's why we have that foam. So that foam, I was actually going to apply it now, but it has a 2-minute working time and a 15-minute set time. And I think since it's sealed all the way around the top, what we should be able to do is just basically just seal right up in here, and we should have plenty to kind of fill this stuff. And so the reason why we're not using some of that like great stuff or you know, the stuff that you would get at like Home Depot is because that stuff, it actually pushes out and bows stuff. Whereas this like factory flexible foam, it shouldn't do that. We shouldn't have any issues with that. So again, I just want to make sure this thing is all sealed and nice. So now comes the issue of this other side. So now we need to go ahead and actually cut off this whole top piece, trim all this stuff down a little bit so it's a little bit shorter. And then this gas door thing right here is actually going to be kind of a pain. So this gas door on the outside is actually smaller than what the gas door is on the car. So basically, as you trim it back, you kind of get a gap in here. So I kind of have an idea. I'm just going to kind of cut most of that stuff out and then actually go back in and actually mold it in 100% and you know, kind of do my own body work in there to kind of get it correct. So yeah, that's that's about that for that spiel. We're gonna go ahead and start, you know, marking some lines on here, get this thing cut off. So I got these quarter panels all, I guess, kind of half, well, they're not really molded in. They're glued on right now. They still have all the self-tappers and stuff in it. And kind of my plan for that is just pull the self-tappers and then kind of just fill that, like the little hole, basically with panel bond. So kind of go in there and expand and kind of give it like a little, you know, like a mechanical rivet or something like that. So it'll kind of go in there, it'll squish, and then I'll just smooth that out and then grind it. She should be all good to go. So one of the other things I need to do right now while I'm already dirty and I've already been cutting freaking fiberglass today is I'm gonna cut the side skirts and try to get those fitted on here. Alright guys, so that's the quarter panels. They're stuck on there, they're glued on there. This stuff wasn't hard enough. So I'm gonna let it sit for basically the, you know, almost the 24 hours before I actually pull out these, you know, the self tappers or whatever. So the other option too is I thought about just kind of countersinking just a little bit of that and then actually putting rivets and then just kind of grinding the rivets down too. So that's definitely an option. So I actually did whip out that foam real quick, and man, this stuff makes a mess. So I almost wish I would have just did the foam from like the cheap stuff, like the great stuff or whatever, because this stuff was really expensive. It was like 30 bucks a tube or something. But it makes a mess. It just comes out so thin and it doesn't expand very fast. So it's like you're just like, imagine like a tub of Elmer's glue that you're like kind of squirting and then like waiting for it to expand, and it kind of expands and then it like almost drips out of there. So I basically had to like pump it up there and then like have my hand like underneath it with a glove, just like underneath it, and I would like let it kind of expand into my hand, and I would just like slowly like kind of wipe it as it was going. And took a little while, but we got it done. As you can see what it looks like up in there, that's you can see it's glooping, you know, kind of trying to come down, but that should seal it up a little bit, and we might actually do a little bit more. So I'm gonna trim this stuff down. Obviously I'm not gonna leave like these freaking dingleberries like hanging down there, but it did add a little bit of rigidity to the quarters too, so I think that's pretty good. That'll definitely help out with you know, kind of giving us something rigid to do body work and stuff on. And I guess if I really wanted to, I could just drill like a little hole right here and then just like fill that up too. That's an option. But yeah, so that is my quarter panel finalization, other than when we actually do the body work. So when we do the body work, we're basically going to use this line right here and just put filler right there and basically just kind of roll it over, smooth it all out. We shouldn't have to use that much filler, but then right here on the quarters, these things do have kind of a weird little like a flat spot right there, so we'll have to fix that. And I went ahead and I trimmed the side skirts. So previously there was a big square chunk, this chunk actually right here, that basically rode up above there, and so I went ahead and cut that off, kind of smooth that out, and I think that'll be all right for when we actually mount the side skirt. So again, all these self tappers are coming out, and the quarter panel is going to be completely molded in, and side skirts, front bumper, all that stuff is not going to be molded in, because I'm not a huge fan of molded in body kits. So molding in the quarter panels I'm kind of okay with, but the whole body kit, that's no fun. If it's a show car, you know, and you have like a super low trailer and that's all you're gonna do with it, but for a real car that you're actually gonna drive and do stuff with, you know, I think this is gonna work out all right. So yeah, made a little bit of progress. I definitely procrastinated on doing this for a couple days, just because, you know, just kind of getting in my own head, like, you know, I'm like, man, am I doing this right? You know, but again, there's not really like a definitive answer on how to mold in fiberglass quarter panels like that. So I just kind of did what I did, and you know, she should last pretty good. So that is going to be it for this video, guys. I appreciate you guys watching. If you like the videos, you know, be sure to leave a comment and hit that subscribe button with the notification bell. And if you do get the notifications on your phone every once in a while, just give it a little click so that YouTube thinks you guys still like me. But appreciate you guys watching. See you later.